no harm, all right? Because I was raised by my grandfather with these thoughts, his philosophies. Our purpose in life is to help as many people as we can, but above all, never hurt anyone, which is a Buddhist teaching, Buddhist philosophy. He's from India. So, and in all, yeah, as I said, I've been in over 20 sectors and even up to nuclear waste remediation, nuclear energy. So in a business that goes up to the highest levels in the US government. I've traveled now to 91 countries. I've lived in 7 countries, explored the world. I've done everything I ever wanted. How did I do so many different things without an education? That's what I figured out, and I've made my courses to convey to people so they can have a better life also. So my students, I've been teaching for about 20 years all around the world, and my students have achieved amazing success. Like the best example is one boy, he is a sound recordist, and he's making over $250,000 a year, while his competitors at his level are making $50,000, $60,000 if they're lucky. He was busy 7 days a week before COVID, 7 days a week, literally busy all the time, while others are saying, no, there's no work, there's no work. How did he succeed? Because of the philosophies that I taught him, right? Another boy in Montreal, he came to work for me when he was early 20s. He was Italian, he was in the mob, worked for the mafia, running drugs, gambling, things like that. You need something, or?
Washroom.
Okay. Sorry. Should have asked for a washroom break before we started. It's okay. If you need me to stop, just tell me. So when I met him, he had dropped out of the 8th grade. And so he has not even high school. And he was working in the mob. So he was doing drugs, drinking alcohol, gambling, running drugs for them and so on. He wanted to get out, clean himself up. So I gave him a chance. I took him in. I trained him. He had a good heart, so I trusted him. Anyhow, end result, he became a senior manager for Starbucks in the province of Quebec, which is 6 million people in the province. That's a big territory. So how could someone with not even high school get a job that high? You know, Starbucks is managerial positions, usually saying, what's your diploma, right? Your degree. But they took him on his personality. See? So everything is about your personality. How do you deal with the events day to day, right? You can take 20 years building up a fortune, make one choice, lose it all. How do you deal with these things? So that's what my work is about, is giving you the mind that can deal with any situation, be that in business or in personal relationships or in your personal self-development, okay? All right, so that's the background a little bit. Now, why do I call the school Be a Cloud? All right, because it's about the most powerful force in nature. Now, the most powerful force in nature is a cloud. Why? Because we'll go to the opposite now. Everyone wants to be a mountain. Because a mountain is big, it's powerful. You have to respect me, you have to honor me, you have to treat me properly, you have to talk to me a certain way, you cannot say certain things to me, you have to do what I tell you, right? I'm important. So we're all going through our life trying to be important. So we get respect, we move up in the company, whatever it may be. But mountains don't move. And when a plane flies into a mountain, everyone dies. But a cloud cannot be controlled, cannot be contained, cannot be created, cannot be destroyed. It can be white puffy cloud. It can be a black stormy cloud. It can blot out the sun. So a cloud is more powerful than the sun because it can turn day to night. It can send lightning and thunder and storms and floods. It can do anything at once and nobody can control it. You cannot make a cloud do or not do what the cloud wants to do. So the cloud is total power. But the most important part of this analogy is that a cloud, when a plane flies through it, nobody gets hurt. Not the cloud, not the plane, not the passengers. It's pretty, it's nice, no one even notices it. Everyone continues on their journey. And the cloud is never disturbed by it. You'll notice when you fly, when you go through the clouds, right? The clouds don't disperse and evaporate around you. They don't seem to even move. And they let you go through. unharmed. So that's the idea. We want to become a cloud so that we're not fixed, stuck in one place. We're not rigid where we never grow, we never change like a mountain. When events occur, as life will always have events occurring, nobody dies, no one gets hurt. But the beauty is, no matter what anyone says or does, whatever happens, you don't freak out. You don't lose your cool. You don't lose your focus. Yeah, I think the other side, you can lower it or put it to auto or something. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So nothing can faze you. That is power. Because if I can say, you worthless piece of crap, and you start to get nervous or angry or your mood changes, I just controlled you. I'm more powerful than you. But if I say, you stupid, giving you shit and all of this, and you're, yes, sir, no problem, then who's in control, right? Who has the power? So that's why the cloud is the most powerful force in nature. So that's what we try to get to. And that's what my courses give you, okay? So the beginning is I'm giving you just basics on the philosophies, the principles, and then I get into little bits about each of the workshops, okay? If you keep them busy with the basic needs, they forget about the freedom they lost, right? Isn't that your life? So busy struggling to pay the bills, to get ahead, to do things. You're in a prison. Life, it's a prison. You're a slave. This is what I understood when I was very young, is that I, whatever I am, I'm a slave to my body because my body demands food, clothing, shelter, and I have to spend my time doing things to get the money to provide for what my body needs. So I am a slave. I want to sleep all day. No, I cannot. I have to go to work, make money. I want to just take a trip and go away for 10 years or 5 years or 1 year. I want to go meditate in the monastery for a year. I cannot. I have to make money. How am I going to feed my body? Right? So we are slaves to our body. And society is designed, you may have noticed, to make sure you are always just that little bit away from freedom. You're always struggling to work, to make enough money, to make that extra bit so you can become free. That's the system. I gained my freedom. I retired when I was 28, so I bought my way out. And this is what I want to help other people do, is first to realize that you're in the prison and you're not free, even though you may think you are. You know the idea of we all have free will? Bullshit. We don't have any free will. And that's what my work is about, to prove to you that that is a lie. You have no free will, you have no freedom. Only then, with that truth, can you gain freedom. Okay? So there are rules. If you know card games, like poker, even God, you ask someone, is God all powerful? God is all powerful. God can do anything. Right, but even God cannot beat 4 aces with a crappy pair of 2s or a bad hand. Because there's rules to the game. And there are rules to our world. There are rules to being a human. There's rules to society, to business, and so on. If we try to deny those rules, you're just not going to win. The rules are there. So some of the rules are, you can wish and hope and make your vision board and say, oh, I can see myself in my Mercedes driving to my mansion and in my private jet. I can see it, it's real. Nah, you're not going to get a thing. It doesn't work. You will only get what you deserve, unless you're born into a rich family. Then who knows why. But for normal people like us, where we're working to get somewhere, you get what you deserve. You don't get just by wishing. You get by being worthy of what you want, okay? So, and that's part of the things that we teach, how to become worthy of what you want. Now, I like this one. Insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So your life, most people's lives, are going in circles. Same relationships, same problems, same job, same arguments, same difficulties, right? Many of the things we go through keep happening again and again and again. We're like on a treadmill, right? The mouse or the hamster on the wheel. So the work is how to break that pattern so we start to go forward. Okay? it's like this fella goes to the doctor. He says, "Doctor, it hurts when I do this." And the doctor says, "So don't do that." That's it. Said, don't do that. So people's lives are going in circles because they keep doing the same thing, because they think that's right, because they think they know the truth, because they think they're free. But you're not really free. But until you prove it to yourself, you can never get free, right? If you think you're living in the whole world and you never left your little island and you think there's nothing else off your island, you don't know that you're a prisoner on a tiny little island, right? And that there's a big world out there. So that's what the work is. So the different workshops help gain us that freedom so that we can go forward. And we call this learning. Yeah? Want to come in? Come on in.
Thank you.
Hello.
Sorry for being late.
That's okay.
Confusion between lakeside, parkside.
That's why I always put Lakeside on there. But anyway, no worries. Please have a seat. Just a little bit of introduction we're missing, but you'll catch up with everything anyway.
Is the right word, insanity.
Going in circles.
Insanity.
Yes. Yeah, doing the same thing, expecting a different result. Okay. So if you'll forgive me, I'm going to have to just continue though, right?
Sorry
Okay.
to disturb you.
That's okay. No, not a disturbance, but you'll catch up. It's okay. So that's what the idea is to break these patterns. And what I call it, I'm teaching a new language, the language of truth, so that we can see the deceit in the world, in our own beliefs about ourselves, right? Because if you want to get something, or you think you deserve something, or you're aspiring and you never quite get there, and you're certain you're doing everything to get there, you're doing the right things, but you didn't get there, right? Going in circles. Well, therefore you believe lies. So we have to learn how to see the truth about ourselves. And I always say with all my workshops, don't believe a word I tell you, but trust me enough to do the exercises and prove it to yourself, right? So I am not interested in huge flocks of sheep followers like these big name gurus and stuff like that. I'm more interested in raising a small group of lions, right? So my work is to make a person independent so you can see and think for yourself and build your own life, right? So that's what the workshops are all about. Now, let's move on to something else. Success is 20% skill, 80% your mind, your personality, the EQ, all right? So the wheel is life, just, going through life, our day-to-day actions and so on. Every spoke is a skill. I can cook, I can clean, I'm a carpenter, I'm a coder, I'm whatever it is, a banker, any skills, okay? I can drive a car, whatever the skills are. But every skill is connected to the hub of the wheel, and the hub is your mind. That's your mind, your personality. Now, if you're easily thrown off balance, if something happens and it easily gets you upset or angry, then your mind is very weak, and then your wheel is all wobbly because there's nothing strong, solid holding the spokes together, right? And so you, instead of rolling nicely through life, you go thump, thump. Oh, I made some money. Oh, I have to pay the bill to fix the car. I made some money. Oh, I have to pay this bill now. And all your savings, as it grows, disappears, grows, disappears, grows, disappears. All right? Because the mind is not solid enough, so when things happen, you fall apart and the things become bigger problems than they needed to be.
That's especially true for an entrepreneur, because I've tried being an entrepreneur. It's all in the mind.
Mm-hmm.
So you need a lot of mental strength to be an entrepreneur, especially. I mean, you can be an employee and be like that because you're being coached, but if you're on your own, like you said, that's very important.
Yeah, because as an entrepreneur, you, the owner, are the hub of the wheel of the business, and the spokes are each of the employees, right? In one of my shops, we had a fire, and my employee came running, David, there's a fire. It's like, if all you do is scream, David, there's a fire, it's gonna burn down, right? So I grabbed the fire extinguisher, ran over, put out the fire, and it was done. So that's the difference between the employee or the average person and the real entrepreneur, literally putting out a fire in that case. So this is going to determine how round your wheel is, and the truth is it's not as round as you think it is. Your mind. Your hub of your wheel is not as solid as you think it is. So we first have to prove that to you, and then you prove it to yourself, and then you might actually start to change it with the other exercises. Okay, so now I'm going to get into explaining some of the workshops. In all, I've made up 6 workshops. They range from 1 session to 4 sessions. The longest is 4 sessions. And it's all based, the price is based on 100 dirham each. They're all about 2 hours each evening. So obviously I'm not doing it for the money. I'm just trying to help people have a better life. I don't need the money, so I can afford this. But before I go into that, is there any questions or something from what I've said so far? Okay, so the first one I'm going to talk about, we call the anatomy of the mind, right? The idea of this workshop is I take the mind and the emotions and I make a model where it looks like they're organs of the mind. Every emotion is an organ of the mind. Like you have a kidney, liver, heart, lung, spleen, so on. You have different organs of the mind and they have atrophied. They've turned to stone, okay? Instead of being soft and supple like a sponge. When you're young, your mind is still supple and your body. So you absorb things. How fast does a child learn a new language? Right? The older we get, the harder and longer it takes. How fast does a child learn anything? But the older we get, the longer and harder it is. So as we get older, through the events of our life, day-to-day events, our organs become ill. Okay? So this workshop explains each of the emotional organs of the mind, how they became ill, where their negative aspect is, how to heal them, and get them to be like a young child again. So they use a healthy function, okay? So this is one of the end of the model. Just to give you an idea, there's a habit organ, which is everything about us is functioning by habit. So everything you do is a habit, right? You'll notice that. The way you brush your teeth, the way you pour the coffee. Like you might pour your coffee and stir it in a certain habitual pattern. You put the sugar first, then you put the water, then you stir it. Other people will put the water first, then they'll put the sugar, then they'll stir it, right? Everything we do is a habit. So all the other organs, meaning our emotional reactions to anything, is also a habitual pattern. So we have pattern organ, fragments, identification, attachment. These things are also covered in the All is Mind course, one of the other courses. All the courses interact. Each one has different material, but if you did them all, then you would see how they all relate to each other. So doing them all would be better. And I think the total, if you did everything, it's 1,200 dirham to do every one of my courses. So let's take, for example, opinion organ. So the opinion organ, when it is a fixed opinion, the opposite of opinions is beliefs, right? So in other words, the opinion organ, unhealthy is opinions. Healthy is beliefs. So we have to get it healthy because right now it's functioning unhealthy, which means you have opinions. These kind of people are like that. Or, oh, if I do a business, I'm going to lose money. Or the stock market is very dangerous. You always lose money. Or, oh, you shouldn't go to that country. It's very dangerous, whatever it may be. Any fixed opinion, all right? It could even be about what food you like and don't like. For example, I hated tomatoes when I was young. Hated tomatoes. You make a salad, you put tomatoes, like, no, take the tomatoes out. Yuck, can't touch them. Okay. And then as I was developing myself, as I said, all of this work, it's my own development, right? Through my own observations, because when I was young, I wasn't happy with myself at all, and I decided I could kill myself or I could change. And if I killed myself and that was wrong, well, it's too late. But if I changed and it doesn't work, I could kill myself later. So I decided to spend my life changing, okay? And this is what I've done with my life. So, by the way, yes, as I said, I had all my businesses, started at 13, I retired at 28, and then I became a monk. And I was a monk for 7 years. So I was Zen in Japan, I was with the Sufis in Istanbul, I was in India and Egypt, in different countries. And then I spent 4 years in isolation in the Rocky Mountains. And I mean, really, in the mountains. The nearest city was 600 kilometers away. So I spent 4 years like that. So I did the both sides of life. That's why one of my websites I call Entrepreneur Monk, because I was both. So opinions and beliefs. So opinions are, this is it. And no matter what anyone tells you, no, this is it. Tomatoes are horrible. Absolutely, don't touch them. So as I was working on myself, I said, okay, every opinion has to be questioned. This is an exercise you can take away tonight, all right? Every opinion, everything you think that this is it, that's an opinion, you have to question. And you question why. Why? Did I taste every kind of tomato in the world? No. Did I get tomato poisoning? No. Why? So I figured out why. My father loves tomatoes, and he wasn't a very nice man to me. So there's an association of somebody who was very evil, beating and all kinds of nasty stuff, wouldn't even buy me shoes when I was 12 years old, to him loving tomatoes. So I developed an opinion, a connection, which is the identification organ, how that works, between a man who is very bad and loving tomatoes, so therefore tomatoes became bad. So I had the opinion that tomatoes were bad. So then I said, okay, I have to break that. Now I have, okay, I think they're bad. So now I'm going to eat different kinds of tomatoes. And I found that certain, whatever you call them, species of tomatoes, commercially grown, they're boring. They have no taste. They're not very flavorful. But the little cherry tomatoes, they're sweet and delicious. And different kinds of tomatoes could be good. So now I have a belief. Some tomatoes are good, some are not good. And I'm ready to eat them and taste them to find out for myself. Okay? So you get the idea of the difference between an opinion and a belief. I believe something, but there's room for doubt. I'll test it. And it's a very good thing to deal with when it comes to racism. All Indian. My mother's from India. So I'm half Indian, my father from Iraq. I'm an Indian, Iraqi. They met in London. I'm a little bit British. And then I'm born in Canada. So I can be anything. All right, Indians. Oh, Indians are this way. Yeah, you know what? You're right. There's what, 1.5 billion Indians? Stereotypes are based on numbers. Okay, but is this particular Indian that way? So you have to say, is this Arab that way? Is this English that way? You can have an opinion, which is narrow-minded, they all are. Or you can have a belief. Okay, this kind of, the Chinese, they're always going to cheat. All right, so then I'll go carefully with a belief that it's possible, but still go forward, but with caution, wisely. Now that's the key of being an entrepreneur. That's the difference between a worker and an entrepreneur. The worker says, oh no, never do business with the Chinese, they're all crooks. The entrepreneur says, Chinese are all crooks, so I'm going to do business carefully. I'll go forward with my eyes open. All right? So you see, that's just one example of one of the organs, how it will limit you, close your mind, cut off possibilities, or when it functions healthy, it allows you to go forward, but with the wisdom and caution so you don't end up cheated.
Buy
Okay.
insurance, basically.
But your best insurance is having a good mind. It's like retirement plans. Everyone invests and buys these retirement plans and these things. I never believed in that. I said, no way. I'm going to make more money by using my money, investing it myself, and then I'll have a few, pardon me?
To buy a new mind.
To buy?
To buy a new mind.
Yes. Well, to buy a new mind, but to have enough money in the bank, I can live off my own. I don't need any pension plan. Right? Yeah. So, yeah, take care of myself. So you have insurance, but your best insurance, yes, have a new mind. that doesn't have fixed opinions, doesn't have limitations, doesn't have fears, all right? That you don't have any guilt, but you have regret. That's another very good organ. You know the difference between guilt and regret? Same thing, right? Oh, I feel bad, I feel bad, I feel bad. Okay. Guilt is, I feel bad, I'm a bad person, I'm terrible. Regret is, oh, I feel bad, I did a bad thing, that's a bad thing, and I'm going to learn not to do it again. Because I regret what I did, so I will learn not to do it again. Whereas guilt is, I'm terrible, yes, yeah, you're right, I'm terrible, I'll do whatever you say. So when the guilt-regret organ is malfunctioning, you're easy to manipulate. You hurt me, you let me down, you disappointed me, I was counting on you, how could you do this to me? I'm so sorry, okay, whatever you want, I'll do it, right? Guilt. But you let me down, all of a sudden, actually, no, I didn't do anything wrong. See? So when the guilt organ functions correctly, no one can manipulate you. But when you make a mistake, you realize it, you regret it, you fix it, and you learn not to do it again. So when that organ functions correctly, no one can manipulate you. No one can get you to do what they want you to do by laying on the guilt trip. Right? So that's the idea of anatomy of the mind. We get all of these emotions, mental organs, healthy again, so that you do develop willpower, that you can do whatever you want, and you will no longer have any tension in your body, your mind, or your emotions. You will become relaxed. You'll become completely, you can just flow beautifully through life. All right? Physically, mentally, and emotionally. All right? So that's what the anatomy of the mind is about, is to get all of the emotions functioning properly so you will not be manipulated again. And the end result is this. Events are everything that happens, right? So every event that happens, you will have a reaction. That reaction will create, when they're good things, we don't care about good things because they always work out good, right? We only worry about what happens when there's a problem. So there's some problem. You will either feel guilt or regret. If you feel guilt, you will have self-pity. That's the whole idea of guilt, right? It was invented to make sure you manipulate someone by making them feel bad about themselves. I'm terrible, I feel so bad, I'm such a terrible person. Then that destroys your self-esteem and your motivation, your spark for life. Eventually, when you get older, you get burnout. But if you have regret, yes, I did something wrong, assuming you did something wrong. I'm aware of what I did. And I'm aware that, yeah, my mind is not functioning perfectly well. It's a broken machine. But I have no guilt because I know if I have only one leg, don't expect me to run as fast as a marathoner, right? So I accept it. I made a mistake. I will learn from it. I accept the regret and the responsibility. And then when you do that, you get tremendous strength and motivation to become a better person, not to repeat the same mistakes. Because if you're in a happy relationship, 10 years, everything is great, 1 year, whatever, everything is great. You do something wrong. For example, one couple, I know, he just told me the other day, they were getting very frustrated because they're separated now with quarantines as they travel, and 4 weeks she has to be away from him and so on. And they're engaged, so it's, really going nicely. Anyway, and they're fighting over the Skype or whatever it is. And he's behaving like a bitch. He has never used that word before. But she didn't like that. Of course, right? You would not like your fiancé to call you a bitch. And she got mad. Now, luckily, he's been a long-time student of mine. So he immediately, instead of feeling guilty and, oh, I'm terrible, I'm a horrible person, he went, oh my God, you're right. I said something terrible. And he apologized immediately, but with a strong character, not out of, oh, I'm terrible, please forgive me. But you're right. That was very bad of me. And I will never do it again because I feel really bad that I hurt you. Okay? So after that, he said it was amazing. Immediately he was forgiven. She let go completely immediately because of his response to what he did with regret rather than just, falling apart emotionally. So when we fix the organs and we don't have negative responses, then everything goes forward rather than in that endless loop. All right? And then you can go in any direction from there. Once you go forward, you can choose. I can go anywhere I want. All right? But when you're lost in self-pity, for example, because you feel guilty and this, I mean, it's the best way to manipulate people. Guilt is the absolute master power. When you can make someone guilty, if you've ever felt guilty in your life, if anyone has ever really made you feel you're terrible, you're a bad person, you know you have no strength there, okay? So power, being a cloud, means, because remember, when the organs are malfunctioning, they become atrophied, like a stone, mountain, and stones don't float in the sky. But when it's healthy, then it's soft, supple, like a sponge. It's more like a cloud. It's free. That's power. So, anatomy of the mind is about that, okay? And that is, I think it's a one-session workshop. That one, it's a bit longer. I think one session of 3 hours. So, all right, so that's that. Any questions about that one? It's good? Okay. The next workshop I'll tell you about, and this one actually we're doing on the 11th, Monday. This is being held on Monday. We already have a few people signed up, but there's still space for more. Reach the pinnacle of your career. Okay. This one is about basically this, the mind, personality, EQ, but using exercises and examples that are career and finance oriented. All right. When I teach business, and I used to teach business because in Montreal, when I was younger, I was a little bit famous because I did so much. When I'm teaching business, I'm not teaching accounting, marketing, any of this. It's all about being a real entrepreneur, how your mind works to deal with problems, and where the mistakes are in reaching your goal. Again, 20% skill, 80% personality. Okay, I was young once upon a time. I think I was about 25 years old, and that's my airplane. I've flown that from east to west, so from Montreal to California. I spent 3 months barnstorming, it's called, where you land in a field and camp out by the airplane across the southwest US. So I've had some good adventures. Now, this is an aerobatic plane. So I did tricks, loops and rolls and go upside down and all this sort of stuff. Twice it's happened to me where I was doing a loop. So I was upside down, inverted, and the engine quit. And I started just falling. You have about 10 seconds or so before you crash and die. But so calm, no emotion, no issue whatsoever. Okay, what do I do? What happened? What went wrong? How do I fix it? Recover, level off, start the engine again, and keep going. Right? But if you lose your mind, you have 10 seconds before you die. So business is the same. There will be times where you have to make a decision very quickly. You're dealing with a customer and there's a problem, but it's a big customer. And you say the wrong thing, you deal with it in a bad way, you lose the customer. That could cost you your whole business. Again, what I told you earlier about this New Zealander, he was the sound recordist, and he's making over $250,000 a year, while his competitors are making $50,000, $60,000 if they're lucky. I taught him two things, and that's why he's so good. He's not successful because of his skill. His competitors are probably better than him, more competent than him, and he'll admit that. Well, he's the one who told me. So, but why did he succeed so well? Two main things. He's a freelancer, right? It's sound recording for movies, films, TV, whatever it is. So big jobs, little jobs. He just finished 6 months doing Netflix, 2 Netflix series and a feature film. So he's moved up quite a bit. The two things that I taught him which make him so successful. Number one is you're a freelancer. You do a job, you give a bill, you expect to be paid because you did the job, right? Of course, right? You agree? That's the right thing. You did a job, you should be paid. I did my job. I said, no, wrong. When you give that bill, you give it with gratitude and a gift, maybe chocolates, a bottle of wine, something small, to say, thank you for giving me the opportunity to make money. Because in reality, that customer that you worked for doesn't have to pay you because you did the job, but you have to thank the customer because they gave you a job that you wouldn't have had otherwise. Huh?
It depends. Because a lot of customers have a habit of not paying. So it depends who you're dealing with.
Yes, yeah. Well, all his customers paid. Yeah. But yes, but you see the attitude. But the attitude changes how the customer treats you. Because if they love you like they love this boy, they always kept him paid well, so he's ready to come back. Because the second point was, you make a mistake, you immediately apologize and fix it for free. You take full responsibility for everything that happens. And his competitors' New Zealand attitude is, when something goes wrong, oh well, maybe I'll fix it if I feel like it, but I'm going to charge you anyway. But it's your mistake. Not my fault. They never take responsibility. So these two qualities set him apart from all his competition, which got him all the business. So how you deal with a problem. So whenever there was a problem, which there's always a problem on a movie, how did he deal with it? He didn't say, oh, I don't know what to do. Oh, I'll have to work extra. Oh, I'll charge you more. He just, don't even say another word. It's my fault. I'll figure it out. I will fix it, and I will not charge you extra. See? So that's it. When the plane's upside down, falling through the sky, how do you deal with it? When the employee comes yelling, David, there's a fire, what do you do? Okay? So that's what the reach the pinnacle of your career is about, is developing the personality that knows how to deal with problems and how to deal with people, because people are always problems, right? How many times in your life I say, everything is fine except this person is a real pain in the ass. So how do we deal with that? Here's another thing. You see this list of numbers? Is it big enough? You can read it? That was when I was about, well, I just retired. So I was, 29. And these are through the years leading up to March 2020. Those are the numbers that I lost in one deal. It's not that I've lost millions of dollars over the years, but that I could rebuild, that I had that much more money, that again I could lose, and I'd still have enough that I could rebuild, and I kept going. This is power. The power to deal with loss, with difficulty, with pain, and keep going.
This is like a lost opportunity, or what?
No, these are cash losses. This is my stockbroker had a software error in March 2020. And in a matter of 2 weeks, I lost $2.4 million. I lost 90% of my money. They had a software error. This one, someone hacked into an investment fund. He took billions of dollars. I lost, it was a 5-minute hack. He was in and out in 5 minutes. I lost $800,000 in 5 minutes. That's hard capital losses.
And never came back.
Never came back. Well, I'm still in court. The broker wants to make a settlement, so we'll see how the last one works out. This one is in court, but it could take 10 years if we ever get anywhere. The others are gone. But how do you deal with it? This one, that was one of the first big losses. I was eating dinner when I got the phone call, and I got a call, okay, this fund, something happened, someone embezzled the money, so-and-so, you lost all your money. I went, oh, okay, well, nothing I can do about it. I'll talk to you later, dinner's getting cold. So this one, I got the phone call, and I was with someone at the time, and she said, are you in shock? What's wrong? You're so calm. I said, well, what can I do? We'll have to go through the process and see what happens. But nothing I can do by freaking out. So the idea I'm showing you this is to say that what I'll teach will give you the power to deal with problems. Now, why this is important, not that when you have a problem, you can deal with it, but that you do not have fear of having a problem, so you never even try something. My father, when he was in his early 20s, they moved to Canada. He started a petrol station, service station with a business partner. And that business partner embezzled all the money, ran away, left my father bankrupt. So since then, his attitude, my father's attitude, has been get a job, any job, 50 cents an hour, kiss your boss's ass, thank God you got a job. Never get into business. I always knew my father is an idiot, so I went into business. So what kind of life is that? It's ridiculous. But, so he lost, and that was it. He never went further. I mean, he had a decent life and all, but, you know, no businesses, no investments, nothing. Just made his living.
Was he a Scorpio?
I'm sorry?
Was he a Scorpio?
What is what?
Scorpio, the star sign.
I don't know. I don't get into the... Actually, nobody knows what sign my father is. They don't know when he was born.
Yeah, in those days, there is no clear birth certificate here.
Yeah, it was in Iraq, you know, 100 years ago or whatever, not 100 years ago, but 80 years ago. They said, I think you were born about New Year time, something like that, you know? And when you have 8 or 10 children, it's like, who cares already? He was the youngest. So it's like, oh, we've gone through this so many times. Who cares what this one's born? The others will take care, you know?
Remember, it was cold outside.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Exactly. So, yeah. So this is one of the most important things, is no fear of failure, because you know how to recover. And you know you will recover. And if you did anatomy of the mind, then you wouldn't have fears, you wouldn't have fixed opinions, your mind would be functioning more healthy, so you'd have even more strength to be able to say, I can do this because I will always succeed, even if my wheel is a little bit lumpy bumpy for now. Okay? That's power. That's the power of the entrepreneur. The power of the entrepreneur is, I am not scared to lose. I have no fear of losing, because if I can do it again, or I did it once, I can do it again. And the other thing is, what do I really have to lose? It's like the fellow, wait, I want to make sure that in my slides I don't have this joke coming up later on, right? No, we don't. Okay, good. It's like this fellow, he's on his deathbed, and in the hospital, he's on his deathbed, he's dying, old man, and his wife is there, and he says, I have a last dying wish. What is it? Bury me with my money. And she goes, hey, you're crazy. Bury you with your money? Please, I worked my whole life from nothing to make this fortune, this huge fortune. Bury me with my money. I want to take it with me. Are you crazy? I can't bury you with your money. Please, please, my dying wish. Okay, you're dying. I promise. All right. So he dies, of course. Coffin goes in the ground. They're about to bury the coffin, and the widow is there. She says, wait, I made my husband a promise, and she wrote a check. Cash that in the afterlife, right? Here you go. Here's your money. Take it.
Cash check.
Yes. Cash, even written to cash. Take it away. That's power, freedom. But when you have fixed opinions, that I'll never get another chance like I have now. I'll never be able to do it again. Oh, I'll be burnt out. I'll lose my motivation. See, fixed opinions. But when you have beliefs of, I know I'm going to suffer. I know I'm going to be depressed, but I did it before. I can do it again. And I don't know what will happen. I know this is hurting me now, but I don't know what the future will be. See, the belief and the opinion. So that's why we have to heal the mind's organs, and then we develop. But I mean, even this pinnacle of your career alone will give you a lot of this power too. It's like I say, all the courses together is all the pieces of a jigsaw, but each one still is a nice little picture. All right, so that is one of the things that we get, is the power to not fear failure, and when faced with failure, to be able to continue forward. All right, and this is a very important thing, that the idea of law of attraction, vision boards, all of this, people have their dreams and they never reach them, is because there is no clarity. When I was about 5, 6 years old, I knew without doubt, and it is still very clear, I will make a fortune, retire before 30. I will then go and become a monk. And I will then be able to start teaching people how they can have a better life, mainly about eliminating arguments and conflicts, negative emotions, and succeeding financially. And I'm going to fund poor people who are worthy through their university education or giving them a profession, funding a little business, and I will be teaching on a larger scale. I was absolutely clear, and that is what I'm going to do. I knew what I would do, how to make money, how much money I wanted, when I will have it, but what's important is I knew why I wanted it and what I will do with it. And that's what's missing. What do you want? $10 million. Why? So I don't have to work. What will you do? Anything I want. I will travel. Where? Anywhere. No. These don't work. You need to know exactly what you're going to do with your goal, whatever your goal is. Why do you have it? And in this pinnacle of your career, we do exercises in the workshop to help you focus and narrow down, okay? But this is why so few people succeed. And the only one who succeeds in the law of attraction stuff is the one selling the course, because they don't teach you the secrets to it, right? You've all heard law of attraction, right? The first reference to it, because I studied many different religions, 10 or 12 different religions, ancient teachings and things like that. The oldest reference I saw is the Hermetica, which are scrolls they found in Nag Hammadi in Egypt, like the Dead Sea Scrolls, that sort of thing. Same place, more or less. That's over 3,000 years old. And in that teaching, it refers to the principles of the law of attraction. Okay? So the thing is, though, the people that teach law of attraction don't want you to succeed. Because if I make my money on people coming to pay me to teach you how to succeed, if you succeed, you're not coming back to buy the next course. You're not going to buy the next book because you already succeeded. So they never teach the most important keys, which are, first thing is, whatever your goal is, it has to be reasonable and feasible. If it is to win a lotto, you're like the guy he prays every week. He goes to church, he prays, God, please let me win the lotto. Please let me win the lotto. And he prays and prays so devotedly. And then one day, after months of prayer, he hears a voice. And he says, buy a ticket. Law of attraction is you can't just say, please, please, gimme, gimme, gimme. It has to be reasonable and feasible. And
but
then...
it also has to, like you said, it is I am, not I want. Like you knew when you were a kid that you were going to be all of this. It's like a fact. It's not like you wanted this. It's just you knew that this is what you're going to be. It's got to be a knowing, like an I am kind of thing.
No, it has to be, I'm willing to die trying. This is what I want, and this is what I will get, and this is why I want it, what I'm going to do. So whether it's I am or I want or whatever that is, doesn't matter as much as I know exactly what I'm going to do. How you get there is not as important as where you're going. Does that make sense with what you were saying?
Yeah, but it's just that it shouldn't be just a wish, like I want these things. It has to be something that you know is part of you. Like you know that this is me. I am this. I am a future millionaire. I am a future.
It's still no, it's not about me. That's why it worked. Because it wasn't about me, it was you. It was about you. Am I going to help you have a better life? That's why I made it.
That's one of the things that you wanted to do. So you...
Yeah, but it was very clear what I'm going to do. I'm going to help people have a better life. And how I'm going to do it. I'm going to be able to fund their education. I'm going to be able to fund them getting into a little business or be teaching. Yeah. So it has nothing to do with me. That's one of the things in the course is that it's never about you. It's about what are you going to do and who are you doing it for. That's one of the ways to get motivation. When it's only about you, it doesn't work. Your subconscious won't do it. Your subconscious will never give you the power, the energy, the motivation to succeed when it's only for you. Because humans aren't made that way. Animals are, yes. Feed me because I'm hungry. And if you don't feed me, I'll eat you. But
That's not true because nature is gives to everyone. So an animal is part of nature, and nature is a cycle. So let's say a bee is not a selfish.
yeah, they're not. That's what I mean. Animals are not, but humans can be
Yeah.
when our ego is involved. So when we know that when it's something that we want to do for someone else, that it has a serving purpose, it gives us what we need to feel worthy of ourselves, which is I am useful. So that's why when your goal is money, so you don't have to work and you can just do whatever you want, you don't get to achieve the goal because it's only self-serving. So the goal has to be very clear and beneficial that gives you a purpose, a reason for existence. So that's why success in a business alone doesn't work. Success in a business for what purpose? That works. You see? And that's the part they're not necessarily teaching in a lot of things. But that's what I focus on, is that. So let's just continue on that. Now, this is, for example, one of the exercises, all right? You have to know what matters most in your life, what is the goal for your life, what you want to achieve as your legacy. So when you're dead, what are people saying about you? He was a selfish bastard, he was a schmuck, he was a useless person who never did a good job, or there's 1,000 people who said, I was penniless, I was lost, I was uneducated, my life was nothing until he helped me or she helped me, right? So what do you want to leave as your legacy? And then what are you willing to do to achieve it? If you're willing to die trying, you have a much better chance of success, right? But, you know, anyway, we go through this exercise, but it's just to give you an idea. And then there's other exercises we will do in that workshop, which helps you get the exact lump sum you need and how much monthly passive income you need to achieve your goal, okay? So we have exercises like that because, remember, the other one is the archer, aim at nothing, hit nothing. So I shoot. That's my house in New Zealand. I have my own archery range there. If you want to hit the bullseye, you have to know exactly what you want. So when people say, like when I did that, Renzi was there. So I was saying, what do you want? What do you want? What did you say? $50 million? She just goes, $50 million, right? She's never going to get it because she just said, oh, $50 million. Sounds good. All right. Now, I knew precise. You need to know what. Why? Because when you don't know exactly, your subconscious will not give you the mental energy to do anything and succeed because it doesn't know where it's going and it doesn't know if it's achievable. And even if you pick a number, if it doesn't think it's achievable and it doesn't know that that actually will be enough to do what I want. Now, what if you said $50 million? But subconsciously you say, you know, I'm just never going to get $50 million. You're not going to have the mental energy to succeed. But if, when we do this exercise in the workshop, you come out to $3.6 million, for example, and $25,000 per month income, that happens to be exactly what I need. I don't need 10 million or 20 million. I personally need 10 million, but so I don't need 20 million. I need 10 million. Now I know, and yes, that is feasible. It's feasible and achievable with my skills, with my abilities. I know exactly how much I need. It's not a vague amount. And then I know what I'm going to do with it. This is the magic, the subconscious magic that happens, that gives you ideas to do things. There you can succeed. It's like trading in the stock market. How do you know where's the high or the low price? Nobody can know for certain, but you get an intuition. And I've had it a lot of times within pennies. I get a number of a buy number for a certain stock or a sell number, price, and it's like, bah, right on. Okay? It's not all the time. You can't make intuition happen, but it can happen if your mind is developed. So that's what we're trying to do, develop the mind. And then with the pinnacle of your career, I say, okay, after that, 5 free texts. So you're going to have exercises to do, which will take you some weeks to do, days or weeks to do, because it takes time to do some of these exercises. So I said, you do them and you write to me, email me, whatever it is, and I help you refine your results. Okay? For example, in Buddhism, there's no such thing as sin. But Buddha said that if you miss, you didn't get it right, it's like missing the mark in archery. So you shoot, you didn't hit the bullseye, no problem, shoot again. Oh, missed again, okay, shoot again. So that's why you'll do the exercises, you will not get them right the first time because it's a learning process. It's not how much is 2 + 2, 4, yes or no, no. So part of the workshop, and it's like 150 dirham for this one, right? But 5 times, because I picked the number, that we just go back and forth with your results. I give you a response so you can refine it. And I said 5 only so that you make the best use of them. Because some people, if you don't have a limit, they just ramble on and go on and waste time. So I limit it to 5 so that you have to think about what you're saying. So you make the best use of each communication. All right? And to do that is itself an exercise to be precise and concise, which is very important to be an entrepreneur. Because if you're going to just talk and spend 3 hours chit-chatting, that's 3 very important hours you've wasted. So you have to learn how to be precise and concise. So that's why I give that. Okay? So that's Pinnacle of your career. And that's happening on Monday. So you should definitely all sign up for that. Okay. All right. Any questions about that one? Cool? Okay. It's now 8:15. Do you want to stop for a toilet, for a water, for a tea or something? And we'll keep going till 9 like I had put on the ad. So do you want to take a little break? Yes? Okay. 5 minutes though, not longer. All right. So there's the kitchen, teas, coffees, machines, water is there, and the toilet is just right here on the side. Okay. No. But it's nice they give us all these drinks, though. But no, they don't give us food. All right. Whoopsie. Unwavering self-esteem, all is mind, or relationships? No, everyone was more about business and stuff. And then end frustration, build unwavering self-esteem. How long will this? Oops. All right, this one. Okay. All right.
I'm going to have to leave though before 9.
Okay. No problem. So good, sir. What is your name?
The name is Yes, Dr.
Ah,
Yes.
you're Dr. Yes.
Bond, James Bond.
I think it was Dr. No, but yes. Are you a medical doctor or?
No, that's my life statement.
Ah,
Positivism. Positive.
very good. Okay. But the doctor is?
That's a real name, but it's not my legal name.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I am a student of social subjects. I am. And that's an ongoing, continuing education. But that's not why I'm called a doctor. This is a statement. This is a, as I said, a life statement.
Mm-hmm. Good.
And everything that I want to do and I try to do is based on that.
Good. Where are you from?
That vision.
Are you recording stuff?
Where are you? Which city are you from?
Yeah, it's like
Lived in Dubai a long time.
Mm-hmm.
you can
Been a nomadic
like us
explorer,
on Facebook, and then you can
traveling
share
like
the
you
live
worked
videos.
and lived in many countries,
Yeah, you can find
Good.
us
I
on-
don't like.
from the US to Australia.
I don't like to.
Good.
You go to New Zealand.
But this is on
New Zealand is a nature place. Not much action there intellectually. But yeah, that's good. That's the best education is being in different countries, for sure.
Well, this was as I said in the email.
Mm.
It was my endeavor to to find the true meaning of wealth, success, and happiness.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you, I looked at the numbers and I thought something is missing. I'm supposed to feel good, but why don't I feel good?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm working 18, 20 hours a day, and my family is enjoying vacations in Switzerland and in England,
Yeah.
and I'm slogging away in the heat. Is this supposed to be a success or what?
Yeah.
So, that question came to my mind. I went on that endeavor to many people like you have discussed with them. I attended many courses, trying to understand. I'm still on a journey of self-discovery, frankly speaking.
Yeah.
And I'm learning.
Good. Well, we're always learning. No one's getting everything, is it? Yeah.
And the nice thing about all the words that you have chosen and picked, it triggers a thinking in the mind itself. As you said,
Good.
the mind
Mm-hmm.
has a mind of its own. So it gets
Yeah.
triggered to start thinking.
Good. Well, that's the idea. I've got to get your mind working.
Yes.
Good. All right. So then let's continue on. This other workshop I call Build Unwavering Self-Esteem. So this is basically, Confucius said, don't strive to be respected, but strive to be worthy of respect. All right? I've had customers say, you know something, and I want to know what that is. They could see that the way my mind works, they respected me. I've had people invest with me or ask me to hold money for them, hundreds of thousands of dollars, huge amounts of money. They never wanted a paper, a receipt, an acknowledgement. They said, no, I can trust you. All right? Becoming worthy of respect is how you're going to get people to work devotedly, the customers stay loyal, the employees support you, and so on. Right? So that's what this is about. And what it is I created a website I call Ethicalism. And ethicalism is basically ethics, codes of moral conduct, that replaces the idea of religion. So there's no God, no church, nothing. But it's a code of conduct to live by. And the idea is making you proud to be you. Because low self-esteem is a virtual plague. COVID is nothing compared to low self-esteem. That's really devastating, especially in the Western world. People just don't feel good about themselves, right? And that makes us weak and always functioning from a position of weakness because you don't feel proud to be you. Always a little bit scared, right? I had one fellow, one student, and he was a very insecure person, very insecure. And one day it came out that what he's always been doing with his little business is cheating on the taxes. He was doing really bad stuff, dangerous stuff to avoid taxes. And I didn't know he was doing that, but we were dealing with his low self-esteem. And then when that came out, I said, no wonder you're scared of everybody finding anything out about you. You're always scared because you're doing things that'll put you in jail just to save tax. And when he stopped doing that, then he felt better about himself because he had nothing to hide. But generally, people have something to hide. They feel insecure, uncomfortable, I'm not good enough, or whatever it is. And that is hurting away your self-esteem. So we're all thieves. We're all liars, right? Because nobody can say, I have never stolen a pen from the bank or lied about something. We've all done little things. And that eats away at your self-esteem. So ethicalism is a collection of ethics, morals, good stories, but what makes it different, because the morals that are out there, they're nice stories. They sound good. Like, for example, this one, be flexible in your heart and mind. You don't know everything. Be open-minded to learn, adapt rather than resist the things that anybody wants, adapt to the nature. And if you adapt, you survive. The one who resists gets broken. Beautiful thought. Wisdom, great. Big deal, it's worthless because you don't know what to do with it. So what I thought was all of these lovely thoughts like Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu, Confucius, whatever, all of these guys, wonderful thoughts. Everybody like, yeah, so what do you do with it, right? So what I did was I made a collection of, I think it's 39 ethics, morals, things like that. But each one has at least one, if not 3 exercises, how to apply it. That's what makes ethicalism special, is that it's not just the thoughts that will make you proud to be you, the things to do, but the exercises, how to actually apply it in your life so that you can make realistic changes to become someone that everyone respects and admires, all right? So here's one of the exercises is break a habit, make a habit. Please take a picture of this and do this. Take this home. Each month, you break one current habit you have and make a new habit. So that means things like I take coffee with milk and sugar. Next month, no more sugar. Next month, no more milk. Next month, no more coffee. Right? Any habit you have, you break. And then a new habit. You brush your teeth every day? Great. When you brush your teeth, with this hand, you tap your finger, the other finger, very fast while you're brushing your teeth, paying attention to the texture of the brush on your teeth, but tapping very quickly. And then you add to it, you count from 1 to 10 slowly. So you're doing this in 1, 2, 3. See, so I'm tapping fast, counting slow, aware of this, and then add to it. Do it while you're on your tippy toes. Okay? So you have a habit, you make new habits, break old habits. But you don't go back at the end of the month. So at the end of 1 year, there's 12 new habits and 12 broken habits. Okay? So by doing this, it helps you to be flexible because you start breaking habits. Your mind starts to become more of a sponge than a rock. And other things change in your personality at the same time. Okay? So that's the idea of this workshop, is we go through several different ethics, principles, and exercises, how to apply them so that they will be things specific for each person to use that you can become proud to be you. So depending on whatever insecurities you have. So that one is about developing stronger self-esteem. All right. Now, I'll tell you about this one is the longest one, which is only 4 sessions. All is Mind. This is the most encompassing course, the most profound, detailed course that talks about how the mind works in great detail.
All is mind and mind is all. Who is it that said?
Oh, you're thinking of the Kybalion.
Is it?
What? Yeah, all in one, one in all, or something?
All is mind
Or is that the
and
Three
mind
Musketeers?
is all. No, I'm checking.
Okay. Well, anyway, I made this up. This is just mine. I call it All is Mind because everything is in your mind. And your mind is a machine, and the machine is broken. So All is Mind shows the mind as parts of a machine, how they've malfunctioned, just like the organs, anatomy of the mind, but it's different parts, and how to fix them. So it basically answers that. Why do I do what I know is bad for me, and I don't do what I know is good for me? We all are like that, right? You're talking to someone and you want to say something. I know I shouldn't. It's going to piss them off. But I want to say it. But I know I shouldn't, but I want to say it. But I know I shouldn't, but I say it anyway. Right? And I know I should meditate every day, but I don't. Or whatever it is. So why are we so broken? And that's what All is Mind explains. Why we're broken, why we have no willpower, why we cannot control ourselves, and how to fix that problem. Okay? So what it does is gives us emotional freedom. Emotional freedom from feeling hurt, insulted, attacked, manipulated, emotional pains. Not like for when my wife died, I was in pain for several years. That you're still going to feel. But pain of, I said something and now you are hurt by what I said, that kind of pain we don't feel anymore. There's no reason to feel 95% of the pain you feel during the course of a day. That is not real. It is just in your mind. It's not a real thing that happened. And those are the pains that we will never have to feel again. And the problem with that is it makes you temperamental, irrational, difficult to deal with, right? So imagine you have to work with someone, but you have to be so delicate with how you talk to them because they're so sensitive. You don't want to work with that person. What if you are that person? So we fix these problems. So you become super stable, but you also know how to deal with other people so that you don't have conflicts, problems, difficulties. All right? So everything in your life moves forward.
But how do you deal with bullies, for example?
Well, every situation is going to be different, but the way you would deal with a bully or someone who's insulting or any of it would be the same. You will understand how they function, what's going on in their mind that they're not aware of, and how you can deal with it in a way that you become the cloud rather than the mountain so that they cannot harm you. And then when you punch a cloud, when you punch a mountain and you're actually chipping away at it because you're going to get to the gold inside, you'll keep punching. But if you're punching at a cloud, nothing is going to happen. You are going to wear out. So you becoming a cloud, dealing with the bully eventually wears out. And then you are in control. Right? That is a technique in fighting. Like in martial arts, in Tai Chi, when you fight with Tai Chi, you're basically moving out of the way. You're not hitting. You're just letting him hit, and you move out of the way. And the opponent uses up all their energy until they're so tired, you can just go, finish. Right? So how we do that, and this is an example. This thing is called a heel lift. You put it in the heel of one of your shoes, and it raises your leg by 0.5 centimeter in this case. This a true story again. When I was younger, I used to have severe back pain. Always. Super painful. I went to chiropractor, osteopath, orthopedic surgeons, every kind of thing, acupuncturist, whatever. Nothing worked. It works for a few days, back in pain again. I went through like 10 years, 15 years like this. Spent tens of thousands of dollars in x-rays and this therapy and that therapy. And then one day I met a friend. He was a retired orthopedic surgeon from UK. And I asked him, I said, Roger, can you look at me? Maybe you have an idea. And he looks and he says, your left leg is 0.5 centimeter shorter than your right. He said, put one of these in your shoe. $2. Put it in my shoe, never had pain again. No more pain ever. Because we found the real cause. The cause was not in my back where the pain was, which was where everyone was looking. The cause was this leg is shorter. You're not going to make it longer. So you find a way to adapt. And then after a few years of using these things, didn't even have to use it anymore. So it adapted enough. So finding the real cause of things. Now, the bully. What's the real cause of the bully being a bully? If you don't know that, they'll always be a bully to you. But when you can see the real cause of why a person is a bully, what's really behind their actions, and you're being a cloud to their actions, you can totally disarm them.
They're a bully to everyone.
We only worry about ourselves for now. Because until you fix your life, you cannot fix anyone else's. So our work, I've had people with me 20 years, 15 years, all right? The work continues forever. But you begin with only fixing yourself. We don't worry about anyone else. You're not here to stop the bully from being a bully. You're here to stop the bully. You're here to stop you from being affected by the bully. When you've mastered that, then you can start to work on the bully. Or you can start to help other people. But not until you've mastered yourself. Okay. So we find out why is the bully being a bully. We find out why am I reacting the way I'm reacting. And that's all things that when you have the understanding, everything changes. It's exactly the same as you put the little kid in the room. Good night, darling. Turn off the lights, close the door. Monster, monster, monster. Where's the monster? It's gone now. You turned on the lights. As soon as you turn on the lights, the monster goes away. And that's what we're doing. So we're not dealing with your past traumas and your childhood issues and things like that. No, we're dealing with the thing that those traumas affected. Right? So if I stick a needle in my finger, I'll feel pain. The cause is the needle, right? But likewise, if I have gangrene, The gangrene is the cause of the pain, but I have to cut the finger off so the gangrene doesn't spread. You know what's gangrene?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, yeah, so it's like a virus sort of thing that you cannot heal. It just eats your flesh, and it'll just keep going. There was, my late wife, she worked with a lady, her husband, he had gangrene in his toe. He refused to cut his toe. No, I will not cut my toe. The doctor said, there's no healing. No, it spread. Then they had to cut his foot. He refused to cut his foot. In the end, it had spread his entire leg. And if it passed the leg and got to the organs, he's dead. So he wouldn't lose a toe. In the end, he lost a whole leg. Okay? So this is the example of what is happening to your life and is going to keep happening. As long as your machine stays broken, as long as you are feeling low self-esteem, reacting in a certain way, not understanding the cause of your own emotions and reactions, it spreads until it destroys your whole mind and your whole life. How many relationships are lovely and then they say, I'm not in love anymore, I don't feel it anymore, we fight, we argue, we get divorced. But you know what? A lot of times that it's a cause of something outside. There's something else bothering a person, that they're fighting with their spouse. But it's something nothing to do with you. But I'll fight with you because something is bothering me and I don't know what it is, and you're at home. Because I can't give shit to my boss. I can't yell at my employees. They'll sue me for harassment. So who can I yell at? I yell at my spouse, my partner. And we end up divorced. But that's because the machine is broken. So that's why with all his mind, we fix it. And one of the ways we're fixing it, sorry, we're doing it this way, is to understand you're not really you. That means when you are born, I call baby no name, fresh out of the oven, baby no name. You don't know anything. You're nobody, right? You've got a body, and that body has its genetics, but it isn't a person. You become a person by your parents, your culture, your language. So the analogy is this. Donald Trump. We all know Big Donald, orange-haired, arrogant American. But what if at 1 day old, when Donald was born, same hospital, same parents, 1 day old, he was taken to India and he was raised by parents in Gujarat. Donald would be an Indian, I'm telling you. He would be a Hindu, no? He'd be a vegetarian, he'd be a Hindu, he'd speak Hindi, he wouldn't even English talking, no? Huh? Total different. Because he's growing up in India. Huh? Not the same. But same body. He might not dye his hair orange anymore, but same body. You see, you're not really you. You're only a product of everything around you when you grew up. So all his mind is going to show you that. Now the point is that you then have the power to become anybody else. All the opinions, the beliefs, everything about you. Like with Indians in New Zealand, the New Zealanders are super racist, very racist. And they hate the Indians. And there's a lot of Indians, mostly from Fiji. But anyway, so the Indians get a lot of racism. All right, so I was helping them. I said, well, it's very simple. Is racism stupid? Of course. So therefore, a racist is stupid. Yes. So why do you care what a stupid person thinks? That's it. Cure to racism. Or not cure to racism, but cure to being affected by racism. A racist is stupid. Racism is stupid. A racist, therefore, is a stupid person. So why should you care what a stupid person thinks? But yet you do. Or they did. That's a broken machine. I know that they're stupid. I shouldn't care, but I care anyway. I get affected anyway. All right? Because I think I'm an Indian. So therefore, they hate Indians. I am an Indian, therefore they hate me. But if I'm not really an Indian, and they only think I'm an Indian, because they see my body, but they didn't see me, then he's got me confused with somebody else. Right? And if I'm talking to you about something that isn't about you, it doesn't affect you. So this is it. When we learn you're not really you, you can be anybody else. And you are effectively not your body. Your consciousness is not your body. Your personality is only based on where you grew up, who your parents were, and so on. You get amazing power and freedom. It's another way to become more of a cloud. All right? So all is mine. I'm going to show you just 2 slides from the model. I built this little model, and it's got all the different parts of the machine. Basically, everything is an event. Whatever touches one of your 5 senses: sound, smell, touch, taste, hearing. You smell a perfume, you make a connection. Who do you know who wore that perfume? You hear a song, what was I doing the first time I heard that song? I tell you about horseback riding. You immediately start thinking about horseback riding. Any event triggers you thinking of something else, which is what we call identification. So a sight, smell, sound, taste, whatever, image triggers your identification of that event to the first time that it happened. So for example, you haven't heard this song in years, but that's the song that was playing when you had your first kiss, or your first boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever it is, or the first time you went horseback riding. And I'm now talking about horses. You never talked about horses for the last 20 years because you fell when you first tried to ride a horse 20 years ago. So you've avoided horses all these 20 years. And all of a sudden I say, hey, let's go on a date. We'll go horseback riding. And right away you go, oh, no way. Because you identify the pain of having fallen off a horse 20 years ago. So every event triggers you an identification to the first time that event happened, and your mood, your emotions, your thoughts will change from whatever is right now to the same as it was back then. All right? So when you're, you've had this, I'm sure this has happened to you. You're with someone, you're talking, conversation is great, connection is good, something is said or something happens, and either you or the other person, the mood totally changes. Right? Has that happened? You've seen this? No?
Yeah.
Because he's not nodding.
Tell me again.
So you're having a conversation and the connection is good and just something happens and the mood changes. The attention changes, the feeling changes. Yeah? Why does that happen? Number 1, why does it happen? How does it happen? And number 2, how come I can't control it and stay present? Because when the mood changed, everything changed. The direction of that conversation changed.
Yeah.
It was going well, and now it's just poof. I'm on a first date with someone. I think this is my soulmate. It's wonderful. We're so connected. It's amazing. And then all of a sudden she's like, no, I don't like you anymore. What happened? I said one word that to me is innocent, but to her triggered an identification. And the story is this, again, a true story from one woman who did this workshop. After we finished the identification part of the model, she said, now I know what happened. I ruined my best opportunity. I said, what? I had met a guy. We were dating. He was perfect, smart, polite, a gentleman, handsome, wealthy, good career. He was perfect. But for some reason, every time he came over and he took off his shoes and I saw his shoes, I got a bad feeling. And I never knew what it was. But every time I saw his shoes, I get this real turn off. And I tried to get him to change his shoes. No, he liked this kind of shoes, whatever it was. Anyway, eventually she couldn't take it, so she broke up with him. And he was perfect. But there was this feeling, something's wrong with this guy. She couldn't put her finger on it, but she knew something's wrong. So break off before it goes bad. Okay. So she did this, and she learned. Those shoes were the same as a previous boyfriend who ended up cheating on her. And so the previous boyfriend who wore the same shoes broke her heart. And now every time she saw those shoes, it triggered the identification to the broken heart from the previous guy. And so she had a bad feeling, but she didn't identify because she doesn't know how the machine works. And all she knew was that she's got a bad feeling when this guy comes over.
But then what you do is the intuition.
Well, that's the thing.
It's an intuition, actually.
Is it an intuition or is it identification?
Well, how do you
when you fix the machine and you are no longer subject to being manipulated by identification, then you'll be able to see, aha, okay, this is not identification, therefore it's intuition.
Okay.
Right? But until you fix the machine, you'll never know the difference. All right? So that's one part of the machine that is very damaging.
Interesting. That's really interesting, by the way, this
Yeah.
thing with intuition.
Yeah.
Because, so I'm very intuitive, but then sometimes I mistake other things for intuition, like you said. So I'm not sure whether this is an intuition or...
Exactly. And then you can make many wrong decisions and go in circles
Yeah.
in the train. And that's why this part of it would fix that. And then there's a lot more parts, but I'm not going to give you the whole course. Like I said, that's the 4 sessions. And it's only 500 dirham. It ends up about 10 hours. So, I mean, it's not exactly a lot of money. And the idea is this. Humans are stupid. Sorry, but humans are stupid. We believe any rubbish. When you're a kid, you ever do that? You go like this, ha ha, I got your nose, right? And the kid goes, oh, you got my nose, right? I can see mine because it's big. But little kid can't see your nose, and they believe you. So you say, it's a kid. All right. My mother was not a kid when I was born. But at that time, the pharmaceutical companies had invented baby formula. So the way doctors work, at least in Canada and US, is doctors only learn, basically they're taught, this illness, give this pill, give this drug. So pharmaceutical companies run the medical schools and they tell doctors what to tell mothers. And what the doctors were told to tell the mothers when I was born is breast milk is bad for the baby. Why did they have to say it's bad for the baby? Because if they said, oh, this new formula is really good for your baby, most mothers will say, well, you know what, the breast has worked for 10,000 years, so let's keep it, it's free. But when they said it's bad for the baby, they instilled the motherly instinct to protect their child, and they didn't do breastfeeding. I've talked to other friends of that age. They said, yeah, we didn't know, doctor said so. And I said to my mother, you didn't think 10,000 years we've come this far on a breast. Now all of a sudden it's bad for us? You didn't question? No, the doctor said so. Doctors know. Sorry, doctor. So I like teasing wherever I can. So doctors know. You see? So she was in her, 20s, 30s, and she believed it. So we're not any better than little babies, no matter how old we get. We'll believe all kinds of rubbish. Because your machine is broken, you don't know how to differentiate. That's why I say I'm teaching a new language, a language of truth, so that no one can pull that on you anymore. So you cannot be manipulated, all right? So some of the benefits are, one of the things people say, you have so much energy. How can teach me how to have more energy? And I said, you cannot. You cannot get more energy because every breath brings oxygen to the lungs, it converts into the red blood, carries it through your body, you get energy with every breath. You can't breathe more. The problem is, one of the other principles in this workshop is called fragmentation, where it creates a lot of inner conflicts. So let's say inner conflicts. All of this inner conflicts. Today, do I wear the red shirt, the blue shirt, the red shirt, the blue? 20 minutes, you can't decide what to wear. Every fragment is creating a hole in our bowl, which the energy is coming in. So it leaks out. Every day, every week, every month, we're creating a new fragment, a new hole in that bowl. And that's why people get burnt out and tired when they get older. Because we have so many leaks. So this workshop helps us to eliminate the leaks. And we reduce these fragments. We reduce the leakage so that when there's less holes in the bowl, the energy can fill it because there's more coming in that's going out. The first benefit is more physical energy. So some students used to sleep 10 hours a day and still be tired. They'd be down to 5 hours and full of energy. First is more physical energy. The second is intellectual energy. You will become more creative, sharp-minded, more inventive, problem-solving. All right? So when your body has more energy, your mind will have more energy. So you'll become effectively smarter. All right? And the third aspect that you'll gain as a benefit by eliminating the fragments is personal growth, self-esteem, self-confidence, comfort with yourself. Because remember the self-esteem workshop, right? Ethicalism. It's hard to do things to develop willpower if you don't have any physical energy. If I'm just too weak to get out of bed, how am I going to get up and go to the gym? How am I going to do anything that takes a little self-sacrifice, right? So the more physical energy we have, the sharper our mind is, the more we can do things that we'll see, yeah, I'm a better person than I thought I was. I can become a better man, right? When my wife was ill, 10 years, I sacrificed everything for myself. Anything was just for her. Whatever she wanted. We went where she wanted. We did what she wanted. I would go grocery shopping with her. I did the kitchen. I cleaned the kitchen. I washed the dishes. I did the laundry. I cleaned the house. I did everything because she liked to cook. You cook. I take care of everything else. All right? So I had the physical energy and the sharp mind to do what was necessary, what was right, basically, which made me a better person. So that I don't have a self-centered ego anymore. I sacrificed myself for somebody else for so long. That meant, you know what, I am a decent man. I could go on a date and I could meet a girl and I could say, you know, I am a really worthy man. And I can say that with humility and I am, right? And that is what we need to get. And it takes the other things, understanding the machine and so on, building the self-esteem to get there. That's power. Now, when you are in business and you are trying to sell something, you've got a customer, you want to tell that customer you're the right person to work with, right? If you have any doubt, the customer is going to feel doubt. But if you can, because you really have become the pinnacle of your career, you're so good, and you go and talk to a customer, or you want an employee to work for you, and you say, I am absolutely, without doubt, excellent to work with. I will not let you down. I will fix any mistake. I will deliver the absolute best quality for price. And you believe it, then they will believe it. So that's how this affects your career as well, okay? All right, so as I was saying, I'm teaching you a new language because I'm teaching the language of truth to see the truth behind all things, because the language of lies is the language of negative imagination. Anytime I'm lying to myself, I've got to justify it so I'll believe it. The same way I'll lie to someone else, I've got to justify it. And it's usually, when I'm lying to myself, it creates a lot of self-doubt. So that's where negative imagination is. If I lie, I'm scared of getting caught. And if I'm scared of getting caught, that will create a lot of negative imagination, fear, doubt. So when we start to see the truth, we will have greater confidence. Now, the truth is things like, I am putting my cup on the table. No. I'm putting my cup on the table, which is on the leg, which is on a little rubber thing underneath the leg, which is on the carpet, which is on the floor, which is on the foundation of the building, which is in the ground. So we're not standing on a building or a floor or a carpet. We're standing on the ground and many other things on top of the ground. Okay? So the language of truth is not lies, blatant lies and things like that, yes, but it's to see all the cause of the cause of the cause of the cause, all the parts involved in any situation. So for every event, what made that happen? For every emotion, what made that happen? For every reaction. And not only what made it happen is important, but now I know how to make what I want happen. So if you want to guide your future, you've got to know where you came from. Where did everything come from? Now I know what to do to make it go where I want. Okay? So, there you go. And I think, yeah, that's probably enough for today. I mean, there's one more I can talk about quickly. This one is ending frustration, improving communication. This one is very simple. Things like this. I had two students. One owned the house. The other one, she was flatting in the house. One day, the boy, he did something nice for the girl. So she left him a note while he was out on his desk. And it said, here's a chocolate bar. Thanks for the sweet thing you did for me. And I put a Coke in the fridge. Very simple note. So he came home. She had to go out. And he said, oh, thanks for the chocolate. And I see you have a Coke in the fridge. Could I have it? And she's like, I told you it's yours. It's in the note. What happened? He said, well, I saw thank you. I saw the chocolate. So I thought I knew what the note was. Has that happened to you where it's a simple email and you just didn't read all of it and the response is like, what's that response? Either you did it or someone responded to you. And it's like, can't you read? So we need to learn why you don't understand. Fights, arguments, conflicts, frustration is because you didn't understand or they didn't understand you. Just because we speak the same language doesn't mean we actually are communicating. So this workshop, Ending Frustration and Improving Communication, is about where things go wrong in conversations. You know the difference between a monologue and a dialogue. Monologue is basically one person talking to himself, what I'm doing. A dialogue is two people talking to themselves. Have you ever noticed in any conversation, especially an argument, that you're not actually talking about the same thing, right? So we learn how that happens and how to fix that. And that when anyone is attacking you, any negative attack, complaints, anything at all, those words are just a knife on the table. When you feel hurt, that's because humans' favorite occupation is to be a drama queen. You pick up the knife and stick it in your own heart. Because no matter what I say to you, si je parle français, tu comprends pas de français, je peux le dire que toi, tu es une grande vache, tu es entièrement fou, il n'y a pas de chance en vie que tu fasses un succès, ça ne fait rien du tout, oui. Didn't hurt at all, did it? But I called you big fat cows, totally stupid, and there's no chance in the world that you'll ever be a success. But it didn't have an effect because you didn't understand the words. But if I said it in English, and I was your parent or something like that, you would pick up that knife and, ooh, what you said hurts. So all your emotional pain and suffering is self-inflicted. It's all a knife on the table that you yourself picked up and stuck in your own heart by how you took those words. So this workshop, which is one session, 2 hours, and the people who take it say, yeah, the next day, total change in their life. You will learn how you get angry, how you get affected, how you pick up the knife, and you will learn how to leave that knife on the table so you simply can never be insulted, hurt, upset, bothered, bullied. Never. Nobody can do that to you ever again.
And the other way around, how do you deal with someone who is hypersensitive themselves? Like you have the bully and on the other spectrum, you have the hypersensitive person.
But it's exactly the same cause. It's the way their mind works. When you know the cause of how they react, it doesn't matter how they react. It's that they react. When you're able to see the cause of their reaction, you can disarm it so that they don't behave that way. Yeah. So you get that as well. Because we're understanding the cause of negative emotions and frustration. What's really behind our feeling and other people's feelings. There's a saying, if you want to know God, know yourself. So it's very simple. This workshop, and all the workshops really, are saying, do you want to understand other people? We do that by learning about ourselves. And that's what the exercises give you to do. Like I said, don't trust me. Don't believe anything. Rather, don't believe anything, but trust me enough to do the exercises to prove it to yourself. When you do that, then things change. So yes. So there we go. It's almost 9 o'clock. I know I talk a lot. It's a lot of information, but hopefully you get an idea of how I present and some of the topics of the workshops. it's best to do all of them. The only one I didn't talk about because we're running out of time is how to get and keep a successful relationship. That one is not how to write a Tinder profile, but how to become worthy of a really good person. So if you have the good fortune to meet someone wonderful, how you can keep them and how you can have a better relationship. Like with my late wife, 12 years, we didn't have one fight. Never argued. Every day was loving, laughing, passionate, fun. Never one argument for 12 years. So that's the things that I'll be teaching in that workshop. That one is 2 sessions. So there you go. So thank you very much. And yes. So what do we have? There you go. So those are the workshops on the website. And you can, and here's our social media pages. You can share and tell your friends about it. And on the website, you'll get all those workshops. So on Monday is the Pinnacle of Your Career. And on Wednesday, the 13th, is ending frustration. So those are the ones coming up this week. And then we have the others. You'll see on the website, the calendar is there for all the workshops with more details. So you can sign up for them. But yeah, hopefully you'll like to take at least the 2 that are coming this week. Yeah, there you go. All right, any questions or anything?
And I hope Sharaz, we have again this kind of talk on October 16th, but I think it's another topic. Or?
No, I covered, I covered most of it tonight. But yeah, we'll do this again on Saturday, next Saturday. So if you have any friends, anybody else, please bring them or send them. Yeah. And then hopefully you'll sign up for some of the workshops and get the details. Okay, so I hope that was good.
It will always be the same time?
Yeah, 7 till 9.
Same time.
Exactly.
And the prices are given on the website?
Yeah, but it's generally, if it's a 1 session, it's 100 dirham. All Is Mind is 4 sessions, so here we go. Build Unwavering Self-Esteem, that's 1 session is 100. Anatomy of the Mind it's longer, it's about 2.5 to 3 hours, so that's 150. All Is Mind is 4 sessions, so that's 500. Keep a Loving Relationship is 2 sessions, that's 200. Pinnacle of Your Career is 1 session, also about 2.5 hours, that's 150. And the End Frustration is 2 hours, it's 100. Okay, good night. All right, thank you for coming. Thank you. Yeah. So it's, I just made it cheap enough that anybody has no excuse. Because what I used to do, it was more expensive because people say, well, if it's too cheap, they think it's no good. So what I used to do is make it more expensive and say, if anyone has money problems, just tell me and we'll either reduce the price or give it free or whatever it is. So I was doing it that way. But then I had one woman, she did that All Is Mind. Okay. At that time, I was charging $750. And she gave me the sob story, this, that. Okay, she has no money. She really wants to do it. I said, okay, come for free. No problem. Come for free. So she did it free. Then I run them regularly. And All Is Mind is quite complicated. There's a lot of information. So people do it multiple times. So it sinks in. So I said, anyone who did it before, you can do it again half price. 50% discount because you already did it once. So try to make it easier for you. So this woman who I let her have it for free said she wants to do it. I said, okay, but this time you should give me something. She says, what do you mean?